Good morning. This is Erin Esser from Morning Minutes with Erin. It is April 15th, 2023, and I'm here to bring you the energy of the day from the perspective of your soul using the Sabian symbols, my own intuition, and my own experience. Because, as I've mentioned before, I made a commitment to myself that I would do a video for 21 days based on this. Because since March, I've been really evaluating everything that I want to do, um, and just who I am and who I'm becoming, and really holding space for that and realizing that I'm the only one that can do that for myself. And so I have to make these commitments to myself and uphold those commitments. And the more that I am true to myself, the more um, I know who I am, know my own qualities, know my gifts, know what I am competent at, the more I can show up in a more powerful way. And so, having said that, it's interesting because, and I've mentioned this before, but since I started doing this, I am been experiencing this energy of the sun, our soul, before I even do the video. So it makes me just chuckle at life, at God, at spirit, because um, I love that stuff when that happens. That's magic to me. Um, and yeah, so anyway, so today's energy is we are still in Aries. We're finishing out Aries, right? Our soul, which is basically the initiation of a new cycle. Our soul is learning, going through this process uh, with a fire in it and trying to figure out, like, you know, where am I going? What am I doing? What do I love? What is my passion, right? Our soul knows it's our ego. And I say that not in a negative type of way. I don't adhere to the teachings of, killing off the ego, like a lot of spiritual teachers do. However, it's being aware of where our ego is holding us back or trying to protect us. That's how I look at the ego. It's these false beliefs that have been set up unconsciously within us that try to hold us back from the unknown. But our soul knows. So it's getting to this soul level, which is why I do the energy based on the perspective of the soul for you. So anyway, we are finishing out Aries. We got a few days left in Aries before our soul, the sun, moves into this grounding energy, earth energy of Taurus. But right now we're fire. Okay. So this energy today is, I'm going to read it to you word for word. It is warning against overstretching. So it's a man possessed of more gifts than he can hold. So right now the sun is at 25 degrees of Aries. We're on the last stretch, like I said, of this, and we are seeing how I want to point back to you 4 days ago. 4 days ago, when I talked about self-determination, I talked about focused intention. It was on the 12th. So you can go back to that day if you'd like to, but that not everything is for our benefit, and to overestimate and not to say, yes to everything. That's been so much of the theme this week as well too. And I think it's interesting because remember when Jupiter was on, was doing the dance with our soul. Well, Jupiter expands everything. So Jupiter's going to be like, we might have felt earlier this week that, oh, I can do this and I can do this, and very exaggerated, right? Our soul could have been very exaggerated, like, oh, I'm able to do this, and 10 more things. If that was you now, and it's about being precise with who we are, and it's about knowing ourselves, knowing our qualities, right? You can go back through these days, and this is all leading up to today, where now we're going to see how we're being possibly overstretching. We're doing too much. We're saying, oh, I can do this, 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 and this because I can. Well, just because you can doesn't mean that you need to. Doesn't mean that it's of the highest quality for you, right? So it's avoiding overwhelm by development of discrimination. Now, I want to share a story with you this morning. Well, last night, I like to plan out my day, like just the things that I need to do for the next day so that they're not all up here and then I don't forget. Because I tend to do that. I have a completely open ajna, if you're familiar with human design. And so things can come in and then go out. And so it helps me to ground in. So I wrote a list down of everything that I was going to do today. So I got up this morning and took care of my chickens and my 2 ducks that I have first night in their coop. And anyway, got inside from there, sat down with my list, and I went over it all. Because I felt this like sense of everything that I wrote down last night. I was like, that might be too much. So I sat down with it and I basically went through and was like, okay, what is priority for today, for now? What do I really want to do today, and what needs to be done today, and what can be done tomorrow? So I broke it all up, and so that there's not so much overwhelm on my soul. So I want to share that with you because then I was reading this and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so interesting, right? And so it's a danger of becoming obsessed by the range of life's possibilities. Just because we have, all of these things does not mean that we should do it. And I'm using the word should consciously because I don't generally like the word should, but I'm using it consciously. So, because here's the thing. When we take on too much, our soul gets overwhelmed, and then we can't do those things well. So this isn't just about, it's about being competent as well too. We're all made and born to be competent and capable, but it's knowing what we're competent in and then discriminating and saying no to the other things. We don't have to be capable and competent in everything. That's when we can delegate. That's when we ask for help. That's when we need community, right? Because it's like, oh, I know I'm good at this. I know I'm very competent in this, and I can do this, and I actually enjoy doing this. But this other thing, not so much. Like I could maybe figure it out, but it might not be of the best quality. I might not be able to put in the best quality because, number one, I don't know what I'm doing. Number two, it doesn't really drive me. So I'm not going to put my best towards it. So this is about soul growth. Today is about knowing what can I do and what can I do well. And if you can't do it well, put it aside or give it to somebody else to do. Ask for support. So it's whatever you do today, do it well. And if don't have a list of 10 things if you can only do 3 well, right? You might be able to do those other 7 things, but they might be half-assed. And this is about cultivating this soul growth, this who we are and how we show up. And do we show up with our whole self, 100% of our heart? Or are we showing up because we think our ego says, oh, you have to do this. You have to do this. You have to do this. Because maybe you have a belief that you're not competent or you're not capable if you don't do those things. I can relate to that completely. But what if it's not about doing it all? What if it's only doing the things that you know you can do well? But that is then you have to have discrimination. You have to know who you are, and you have to know what you're good at and what you love. And so let your heart lead today. Let your passions lead today. Don't let your emotions overcloud like your soul and tell you, that maybe you can't do it or whatever, all those things, right? That try to keep us back from our own soul growth. We need others. We can't do everything on our own. We can do the things that we know that we're good at. And so it's asking ourselves, here's the thing. At what am I competent? So out of all the things you have on your list to do, maybe for the weekend, ask yourself, out of these things, what can I do well? Like, what can I know that I'm going to do to my best ability? And be very honest with yourself. And the things that you can't do, or that I'm going to rephrase that. The things that it's on your list that though, that you're going to be honest with yourself and say, I can do this, but it's not going to be 100%. Or I'm not going to have time to do this today. Ask for support. Ask for help. And so do as much as you can do, but do it at the best that you can do it, because this is for your soul growth. And I guarantee today's energy, just like everything that's led up to today, will build upon what's coming tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And remember, we've got some major powerful energy coming up this next week with the eclipse. It's squaring. I mean, we've got it squaring Pluto. I mean, we've got some crazy energy here going on. I'm not going to go too much into it because this is really just from a soul perspective. But if you would like any kind of guidance in your life, as far as your own soul, what you came in here to do based on your sun in your chart, and how it's aspecting some other pieces of you, other archetypes, other planets within your chart, just get a hold of me and we can set something up where we can go over that for you. It just came to me, so I don't have this on my website, but you can check out my website at erinesser.com. But the best way is just to message me through Facebook or my website as well. I think there's a way to contact me through there too. So, excuse me. And if you have any questions, please comment below. If you have any questions for me, anything that could help you and your own soul growth, anything that I could touch on possibly that is a quality that I have, that I hold, let me know. I'd love to be of service. So I hope that you found value in this. Again, do what you can do today and know what that is and do it your best. Have a beautiful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.